When you're a video game protagonist, you do a lot of things that could be considered illegal, like stealing anything that isn't nailed down or, murder. That's fine. Non-player characters, on the other hand, you expect to be law-abiding citizens, standing around quietly waiting for you to show up and accept their quest, steal their stuff, and if they're unlucky, murder them. Like I said, it's fine. That's why we're calling out these NPCs who are getting up to illicit activities of their own and ought to be thrown in jail for their crimes. Who do they think they are? Me? Take a look at these 7 video game NPCs who should be in jail, inspired by the best comments on our previous video on this subject, and beware spoilers ahead for the following games.
We spoke in the last video about blathers in Animal Crossing New Horizons. The curator owl who has gone totally rogue and started running a shady museum with no oversight or regulation. That spurred lots of you to ask why we didn't include Red, the fox who periodically visits your island in a ramshackle boat and is one of the most prolific fine art forgers in history. On the exceedingly rare occasions that Red does deign to drop anchor on your island, you have the opportunity to buy a piece of art from his suspiciously poorly lit store. The thing that should land Red in the Tom Nook for-profit penitentiary, however, is that many of the artworks on sale are fakes, so unwary buyers are going to get ripped off. Which they'll discover when they try to donate the precious art to Blathers, who, based on our findings in the previous video, is probably in on this racket. Luckily for you, some forgeries are easier to spot than others. For instance, the huge coffee stain here suggests this copy of Da Vinci's famous Vitruvian Man probably isn't the real deal. Unless Da Vinci was as lazy about using a coaster around his priceless artworks as he was about painting eyebrows on the Mona Lisa. Of course, the other artworks that Red sells are in fact the real deal, which now that we think about it is even more illegal because the only way he's got the original Ophelia by John Everett Millais is if he stole it from London's Tate Gallery. Keep an eye out for that boat heading up the Thames, is my advice.
One of the most popular comments we had on the previous video highlighted some behaviour from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, which is technically not illegal, but judging by the strength of public feeling, should be illegal, and certainly will be if any of these commenters make it to public office. The crime in question is committed by a Pokemon trainer called Mindy, who you meet in one of the houses in Snowpoint City near the end of the game. As is common in Pokemon games, Mindy will offer to trade a Pokemon with you. However, the trade she offers is an exciting one. She offers to trade you a Haunter in exchange for a Medicham. The reason this is such an exciting deal is that Haunter only evolves via trading, and so this is a perfect opportunity to snag Haunter's evolution, Gengar, without having to find another player to trade with. Gengar is a hugely popular Pokemon and hard to get thanks to this trade-only requirement, so you can imagine the delight on players' faces when hearing Mindy's offer. Then imagine that delight being replaced by dismay when the trade goes through and Haunter doesn't evolve. We then cut back to Mindy, who laughs in your face and explains that the Haunter didn't evolve because she gave it an Everstone, a held item that prevents Pokemon from evolving. So you're down one Medicham and up one useless Haunter, who can't even evolve into a Gengar. Jail is too good for her, if anything.
I know a real important man in town, a soft touch with, shall we say, exotic tastes and the money to indulge them. He's involved in a legal matter, and the prosecution has some rather embarrassing photos of him at a morgue party or something.
It's not really a newsflash to say that characters in Grand Theft Auto should be in jail, so it takes a certain kind of monster to stand out amongst this Hall of Fame rogues gallery. Enter Donald Love, a character chronologically first introduced to us in Vice City as an apprentice of Avery Carrington, and then later seen in Grand Theft Auto 3 as a ruthless and calculating businessman.
They're trying to extort additional funds from me, but I don't believe in renegotiation. A deal is a deal, so they'll not see a penny from me.
If that was all you saw of Donald Love, you'd assume he was no worse than any of the other quest givers in the games. However, if you played the lesser-known Liberty City Stories, originally for the PSP, you'd know there's a whole other side to Donald, and it involves a lot of, let me just check my notes here, yes, cannibalism.
We're having a party, dear boy, a party. Yes, a morgue party.
Donald, it seems, loves to attend morgue parties and is comfortable enough with his predilections that he can be found tucking into human ribs while giving you missions.
My God, this is good. It tastes just like chicken, but somehow more, sentient.
I'll have the salad. Donald Love even goes so far as to eat his old mentor, Avery Carrington, along with a journalist who took photos of you killing him.
Ah, Ned Burner, ace reporter. Ah, Ned, I'm going to give you the exclusive rights to cover my wonderful party. I wouldn't invite just anyone to my little bash, you know. Invitations are to die for.
Donald disappears at the end of Grand Theft Auto 3, so we don't know if he ever faced justice for his crimes, but then he is a billionaire in America, so I'd say odds aren't great. We did at least avoid getting eaten by him. I'd say that's the best outcome we could hope for.
Hello. Don't think I've seen you before. Some ammunition's on the shelves, but I keep the guns locked. Take a look at the catalog and I'll pull out anything you'd like to see.
Being a gunsmith is a stressful job for a number of reasons. Chief among them, people are always robbing you with the things you just sold them.
Now, let me just look in here.
Now, this ain't the way you want to go, is it?
Open that thing. Now.
So you can see why some gunsmiths take up hobbies to help them blow off steam. That being said, we can't possibly condone the actions of the gunsmith in Rhodes, who has rejected hunting or five-finger fillet in favour of the illegal crimes of kidnapping and imprisonment. Stop by the gunsmith to pick up some essentials and you might be greeted instead by a voice coming from the basement. Investigate further, and it's pretty clear that the Rhodes gunsmith is breaking the law in several significant ways.
It's that crazy gunsmith. He made me dress up like this. He's got me chained to the goddamn bed.
He has A, kidnapped this young man, B, chained him to a bed in his basement, and possibly worst of all, C, forced him to wear a sailor suit.
Why are you wearing that sailor suit?
That crazy maniac put me in it. He thinks I'm his kid's son.
According to the gunsmith, this is all fine because this young man is his dead son, and this whole situation is deeply sad and unpleasant in every possible direction.
I searched up and down that riverbank for days, but I couldn't find my boy. I just miss him so much.
So a horrible situation for everyone involved. Oh, except me, because I helped myself to this Lancaster repeater on the way out, so not all bad.
Got too much dirt in that hair?
You have marvelous bone structure. Stop by the mega surgery sometime.
Doc.
Even though I'm a doctor, I admit I have a small vice. A quick drink after work.
In the post-apocalyptic wasteland, you'd think the last thing people would be worried about would be their looks. Out here, eye bags are more likely to be literal bags of eyes strung up in a super mutant encampment than they are a minor cosmetic inconvenience. And yet in the Commonwealth wasteland of Fallout 4, people are apparently so concerned about their appearance that there is enough demand for a full-time plastic surgeon, one Dr. Crocker, who plies his trade out of the basement of the Mega Surgery Center in Diamond City.
A new face. Strong, but not perfect. For a nominal fee, Doc Crocker can give you the looks you've only dreamed about before.
Doc Crocker is a handy fellow to have around if you're as slapdash at character creation as we are, as he'll tweak your appearance for a fee, but you should perhaps exercise caution around him. Why? Well, because he's a plastic surgeon in a video game, and when have they ever not been evil murderers? Exactly. Doc Crocker's specific thing is that he's obsessed with perfection, and when things don't go his way, he snaps, as evidenced by what you discover if you head down to the basement of the medical centre. Here you'll find Doc Crocker along with the dismembered body of one Earl Sterling, former bartender at the Dugout Inn.
Naughty, naughty. You're not supposed to be down here, but that's okay. I can fix that.
It seems when working on Earl, Doc Crocker lost his mind and killed his patient, although that's not quite the way he tells it.
I didn't do anything. It was Earl. It was Earl who didn't want to be happy. Good patients get a nice, new face. Bad patients bleed all over the floor because they want to screw up their surgeon's life!
Anyway, despite this being a brutal, post-apocalyptic wasteland, murder is still illegal. And apparently the sentence is death by lethal injection, a punishment carried out immediately by Doc Crocker himself.
I can fix anything.
Does this mean I can't get plastic surgery anymore because I was hoping to get something done about my prominent earlobes? No? Alright, fine.
Tonight the fisher knight leaves the humble shores of home for the heady depths of court. Pray, let this token from humble Festi garner favour with the leviathans within. Oh, tut tut, no time for thanks, friend. The Duke awaits. Sail on, dear knight, sail on.
When you first meet Duke Edmun Dragonsbane in Dragon's Dogma, you'd be forgiven for thinking he's a pretty impressive guy. After all, according to the story you're told, just days after he awoke as an Arisen, a dragon attacked the kingdom. Being a dragon-hunting Arisen, Edmun set out to face the dragon, but unlike most of the others who had gone before him, actually succeeded in killing it. Needless to say, this made Edmun somewhat popular, and he quickly rose through the ranks of government, finally ruling the kingdom as Worm King Edmun, who seemingly never ages.
By my command, every road in Francis shall be open to you henceforth, as a member of the Worm Hunt.
Seems to be a great guy, am I right? So what's he doing on this list? Apart from taking the title Worm King, which, I mean, not illegal, but it is giving me the ick. Well, it turns out that Edmun wasn't being exactly truthful about what went down with that dragon. Edmun hadn't defeated it at all, but rather accepted its bargain and sacrificed his beloved in exchange for power. And thanks to the dragon having removed Edmun's heart and taken it with him, Edmun got eternal youth into the bargain.
As my vanquisher, the duchy would bow to you. Wealth and power are sweet anodyne for heartache. You'll not gainsay my terms are more than generous. If it matters aught, the man who rules this land now won that honor through just such a bargain.
All of which seems like grounds for some serious jail time, except that during the course of Dragon's Dogma, you find and defeat the very dragon with which Edmun made his deal, which causes all those years to hit him at once. Which honestly, feels like he's served his time now. Yeesh.
さて、写真が見たいんだったな。ほれ、見てみろ。自信作ばかりだ。どれどれ。ああ。
As you'd expect from a location in a Like a Dragon game, Hawaii from Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth offers a ton of side activities for you to enjoy, such as building your own paradise island, making weirdos fight each other, and of course a side job as a gravity-defying Postmates delivery rider. Another of these activities, while fun, just goes to show that the in-universe Hawaii police force isn't up to snuff, and not just because they do nothing to address the fact that you can't walk 10 feet along the beach without getting into a fist fight with some randos.
Gonna cry for my battle time.
I am, of course, talking about Sicko Snap, the Pokemon Snap style minigame in which you board a trolley and then take a leisurely drive around town, snapping pics of various local characters you encounter along the way. The problem with this, as you may have noticed, is that all the people you're photographing are almost naked, oiled up gym rats wearing eyes wide shut masks who pop out of bushes, hang from ledges, and generally gyrate their way across the city in a way that has got to be violating about 40 public decency and anti-nudity laws. So obviously all these men should be in jail, and yet they aren't. Maybe there's too many of them? Maybe they're too muscular and just overpowered the cops? Or maybe they were thrown in jail and were so oily they managed to slide out between the bars? It's probably that last one, isn't it?
初回にしちゃ上出来だ。そうかい？だが、なかなか難しいもんだな。急に出てくる不審者も多いしよ。
There you go, 7 NPCs who should be in jail. Can you think of any others that we've missed? Do let us know in the comments below. Which one do you think deserves the longest sentence? Get in the comments and let us know about that too. And also news now that's just come in, I'm just hearing this, it's now illegal to not watch either of these two videos. So if you don't want to end up in there with them, I would pick one. This one here is from us. Down here is one from Outside Extra. Either of those will get you exonerated and off the hook. So pick one of those now and we will see you next time.